The American Cancer Society estimates that in 2024 in the United States, there will be around 106,590 new cases of colon cancer, 54,210 for men and 52,380 for women, and approximately 46,220 new cases of rectal cancer, 27,330 for men, and 18,890 for women. Colorectal cancer is one of the most common types of cancer, leading many of us to ask, does the family history put you at an increased risk of developing colorectal cancer? This video will explore hereditary colorectal cancer, what can put you at a higher risk, when you should start screening, how genetic testing and counseling can help, and more. Note, we will sometimes reference colorectal cancer, which refers to colon cancer and rectal cancer combined, because both develop in the large intestine. Now, how does having a family history impact your odds of developing colorectal cancer? Yes, colon cancer can be hereditary, but not always. While about 1 in 18 individuals will develop colon cancer at some point in their life, of all cases of colon cancer, only about 5 to 10% are hereditary colorectal cancer, stemming from gene mutations inherited from the individual's mother or father. How exactly genetics and family history play a role is still largely unknown. So far, science hasn't identified a single genetic pathway that contributes to all colorectal cancer cases. There is research that suggests, however, that the first mutation happens in the APC gene. This ultimately leads to a higher growth of colorectal cells because nothing is stopping it. Still, other genes may very well be involved in the rapid growth of these cells, along with any mutations that occur. So, is there genetic testing for colon or rectal cancer? Yes, you can get genetic testing to determine if you're at an increased risk of developing colorectal cancer. You can also get genetic testing after learning that you have colorectal cancer to see if and how a family history might have played a role. In particular, genetic testing can help determine if an individual is at an increased risk of colorectal cancer due to having inherited syndromes like Lynch syndrome, hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer or HNPCC, and familial adenomatous polyposis or FAP. Even if the genetic testing comes back negative, if there is a history of these syndromes in the family, it's advisable to start getting routine screenings at an earlier age. Before you go through genetic testing, you might opt for genetic counseling. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, genetic counseling offers insight into how genetic conditions might affect you. The genetic counselor collects both your personal and family history and uses that information to estimate how likely you are to have a genetic condition, in this case, colon cancer. This professional can help identify if genetic testing would be advantageous for you. So, what are other risk factors for colorectal cancer? Aside from a family history of colorectal cancer and genetic syndromes like Lynch syndrome and familial adenomatous polyposis, age is another big risk factor. Other risk factors include Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and other types of inflammatory bowel disease. A lack of regular physical activity, a poor diet, not enough fruits, veggies, and fiber, and or too much fat and processed meats, excessive alcohol consumption, and carrying excess weight. So you can put yourself at a lower risk of colon cancer even with simple lifestyle changes. Now, what are the symptoms of colon cancer? If you start experiencing any of the following symptoms, it's a good idea to have a conversation with your healthcare provider. But remember, experiencing symptoms doesn't automatically mean you have colon cancer or rectal cancer. A change in your bowel movements, including diarrhea or constipation, straining during bowel movements, fatigue or weakness, unexplained weight loss, blood in the stool, abdominal discomfort or pain. Getting tested for colon cancer is painless. By providing a stool sample, medical professionals can check for microscopic blood fragments that would indicate early stage colorectal cancer. When colon cancer is found in the earlier stage, the 5-year relative survival rate is approximately 90%. This is why getting screened is so important. Learn more about getting colon cancer screening with eNational testing. Results are available in 1 to 3 business days, and we have more than 2,700 testing centers across the nation, making screening available, accessible, and affordable no matter where you are. So, when should you start getting tested for colon and rectal cancers? Healthy adults should start getting screened for colon cancer around the age of 45 and continue to do so regularly. A healthcare provider should be able to give you a more specific schedule. You may need to start screening at a younger age if you are at an increased risk of developing colorectal cancer. Additional risk factors include suffering from an inflammatory bowel disease, having family members that have had colorectal cancer or colorectal polyps, or having a genetic syndrome like Lynch syndrome or familial adenomatous polyposis. If you believe you're at an increased risk of colon cancer due to a family history, or if you're 45 years of age or older, it's time to get screened. Waiting until a later age can raise your cancer risk even more. Thankfully, getting tested can be quick and easy. Put your wellness first and gain more insight into your colon health. Contact eNational Testing today or use our lab finder to find a testing center near you.